students. Let's continue in the chapter further. As we have already discussed the last topic in lecture number 2, which is that Britishers even started their trade in Bengal, right? Slowly and steadily they started establishing more powers over the trading center of Bengal, and now they got the permission from the ruler to pay the taxes annually. The East India Company, which was belonging to Britishers, availed the benefit of paying the taxes annually. Annually means yearly once. They would have the record of whatever trade they have during the year, and then they would be paying the taxes. But this benefit was only to avail with East India Company. Now we all know well that basically East India Company was established by the merchants of England. Slowly and steadily, these merchants of England have started indulging in private trade, and even they started availing the benefit of non-paying the taxes at that time. Basically, the benefit was belonging to only East India Company, but private merchants also took the part of that benefit, which wasn't applicable to them. Right? So, after a certain period of time, what happened? The tax income of Bengal reduced, and the rulers came into the knowledge that this was the situation. Right? So our today's topic is connecting after this, which is the Battle of Plassey. Right? Now in the year 1756, Siraj-ud-Daulah became the Nawab of Bengal. Right? In the year 1756, when there were already conflicts going on between Britishers and the rulers about non-payment of taxes. At that time, now in the year 1756, Siraj-ud-Daulah became the Nawab of Bengal. He had an overwhelming influence over the Britishers. What do you mean by an overwhelming influence? That he was not very much positive on the sides of Britishers. He was knowing well that something somewhere is going incorrect, right? Britishers helped the competitors of Siraj-ud-Daulah to expel him out of the throne of Bengal. Right? Britishers were in deep planning that anyhow they wanted Siraj-ud-Daulah to be out from the throne of Bengal. So what do they did? They helped the competitors of Siraj-ud-Daulah. Right? There were frequent conflicts between Britishers and Siraj-ud-Daulah on the account of non-payment of taxes. Right? The frequent conflicts were going on between Siraj-ud-Daulah and Britishers on the account of non-payment of taxes. When British merchants failed to pay the taxes which were applicable to both Indian and foreign merchants, right? Whenever Britishers failed to pay the taxes which were applicable to both Indian and foreign merchants, situation came to boil. Right? Now what do you mean by situation came to boil? That Siraj-ud-Daulah decided to have the war with Britishers. Right? He means Siraj-ud-Daulah ordered that Britishers should not fortify factory. What do you mean by fortify factory? They cannot build the big walls on all the sides of their factory or the fort which they have made. Right? Even they have to pay the taxes as per the terms and conditions. So now Sirajuddaula is ordering Britishers to pay the taxes as per applicable and no more benefits away. Right? The benefit which was to pay the taxes annually, that rule is rolled over. Now they had to pay the taxes as per the terms and conditions, which Britishers disagree. Right? They were not agreed to pay the taxes as per the terms and conditions. So now this provocation, disagreement of Britishers, that provocation was enough for the Siraj to opt for the war. What do you mean by opt for the war? This is how Sirajuddaula, as Britishers disagree to pay the taxes as per the terms and conditions, had choose the option to have war. Right? This is how Sirajuddaula with his army attacked on Britishers, and even Sirajuddaula was successful in expelling the Britishers out of Calcutta. Expelling the Britishers out of Calcutta means removing the Britishers out of Calcutta. Are you getting? This is how first time Sirajuddaula opted for the war against Britishers. Right? Now after expelling the Britishers out of Calcutta, the Battle of Plassey did not end. What has happened next? Let's see. The British counter-attack under the leadership of Robert Clive. Now what do you mean by the term counter-attack? After Sirajuddaula expelled Britishers out of Calcutta, Britishers re-attacked on Sirajuddaula. That is known as counter-attack. Right? So counter-attack under the leadership of Robert Clive. Robert Clive was one of the Britishers under whose leadership Britishers counter-attacked on Sirajuddaula. Now while the Britishers counter-attacked, they bribed, right, Robert Clive, bribed Jafar. Now who was Jafar? Jafar was the commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaula. Right? Now Clive had offered a bribe to the commander-in-chief of Sirajuddaula, who was named Jafar. Now what bribe was given? That he would be conferred the throne of Bengal. What do you mean by confer? That Robert Clive would be opting, giving the throne of Bengal to Jafar for the rule. This was the bribe offered to Jafar. Obviously, Jafar, being the commander-in-chief, agreed. Right? As he agreed, now Jafar is going to help Britishers. Right? The same has happened. When the Britishers counter-attacked, the commander-in-chief Jafar helped Britishers. As a result, Robert Clive defeated and murdered Sirajuddaula. This is how Sirajuddaula was defeated in the Battle of Plassey and was murdered by the Britishers. Right? This was the first war by the company. By the company means by the East India Company in India, which marked the beginning of British rule in India. So this is how slowly and steadily British rule started initiating in India. Right? Now in the chapter after the Battle of Plassey, we are remaining with one more battle, which is the Battle of Buxar. Right? As Clive promised to confer the throne of Bengal to Jafar, we would start the Battle of Buxar from there. Now who will become the Nawab of Bengal? Jafar. Right? So let's continue with the Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar. As promised, the East India Company appointed Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. When we studied Battle of Plassey, we studied that East India Company under the leadership of Robert Clive offered the bribe to Mir Jafar that if he would help Britishers to have the war against Siraj-ud-Dawla, then they would be helping them to have conferred the throne of Bengal. So as per the promise, East India Company gave the throne of Bengal in the hands of Mir Jafar. Right? Robert Clive also went back to England. Now Robert Clive went back to England. With the passage of time, Mir Jafar became hostile towards Britishers. Now what do you mean by the term hostile? He became unfriendly with the Britishers. Right? So the company means the East India Company, decided to replace Mir Jafar with his son-in-law Mir Qasim for the certain period of time. When Mir Jafar was agreeing to all the sayings of the company, they didn't have any problem. As soon as Mir Jafar tried to have some powers as the ruler, the company decided to replace him on the throne of Bengal with his son-in-law Mir Qasim. Right? Mir Qasim was more disciplined, efficient and clever ruler. Right? He was much smart, much powerful to understand all the things which were done by Britishers, which Britishers were not knowing in advance. So they took the decision to make Mir Qasim as the Nawab of Bengal. There started arising problems between Mir Qasim and the East India Company on the account of non-payment of taxes. Right? Mir Qasim and Britishers started having conflicts as Britishers were not paying the taxes properly. Right? This reason brought both the forces face to face. Both the forces means I am talking about Mir Qasim and East India Company. So Mir Qasim and East India Company had a war in which Mir Qasim was defeated and he escaped. What do you mean by escaped? As Mir Qasim was defeated, he ran away. Right? After he ran away, he reorganized his army. Right? He reorganized his army with the help of 3 persons. Who were they 3 persons? Nawab of Oudh, Shuja-ud-Dawla, obviously the son of Siraj-ud-Dawla, and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. These 3 persons helped Mir Qasim to reorganize his army and to have attack on East India Company. Right? So the combined army was combined with the help of Nawab of Oudh, Shuja-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam II. Right? The combined forces met the company forces at Buxar. Right? The combined forces means this reorganized army of Mir Qasim, and they had war with company, East India Company at Buxar. So this war is known as Battle of Buxar, right? So they met at Buxar, had a war. But unfortunately, as the result of war, what has happened? East India Company won. Right? East India Company won. So now what has happened? Also, the reorganized army's kingdom also went in the hands of East India Company. The Nawab of Oudh, so Awadh, Shuja-ud-Dawla, so Bengal, and Shah Alam II, so Mughal Empire, also went in the hands of East India Company. This is how the expansion of power. Initially they were having only control over one territory. Now more than one territories are in the hands of East India Company. Right? So in this manner, what has happened? Expansion of British rule took in India after the Battle of Buxar. Even Robert Clive was sent to India again to take the control of all this combined territory and reorganize the British rule in India. This is how we are coming to the end of this chapter. Hope you all have understood all the topics well. Thank you so much.